We've got some really fascinating material here today. Looking inside a Charleston hair salon, Lava Salon, as it goes through quite a big shift.
hmm
And what that might tell us about the broader beauty industry, particularly this move towards stylists becoming more independent artists.
Absolutely. And it's a great mix of info we have for this deep dive. There's the social media post, which kind of kicks things off.
Right, the announcement.
Exactly. Then a more detailed press release digging into their philosophy, and even bits from a rental contract and commission details. It gives a pretty full picture.
And that social media post is pretty crucial, isn't it? It's sort of the quick version for Charleston hair artists about what's happening at Lava in West Ashley.
Yeah, concise. So for everyone listening, our goal today is really to get into the nuts and bolts of this transition at Lava Salon.
Yeah.
We want to unpack this rental studio model, figure out why it might be appealing for independent stylists, and really pinpoint what makes Lava's offering unique.
All right, let's dive in then. This move to rental studios sounds like it wasn't overnight. It kicked off earlier this year.
Yes, starting back in March. And that social media announcement was very direct, aimed right at Charleston hair artists, highlighting the move to full-time rental studios.
Full time, yeah. That suggests a real shift, not just dabbling.
Seems like it, a commitment to this new structure.
And it looks like they have a couple of different ways stylists can rent, not just one flat rate.
That's right, two main plans. You've got the basic independent rental for $1,000 a month,
Okay.
and then there's a second tier, the rental plus booking and schedule assistance for $1,250 a month.
Ah, so for an extra $250, they help with the admin side. That seems smart.
It really does. Because, that admin burden scheduling, booking, it's a huge pain point for a lot of independent stylists.
Totally. It eats up time you could be spending with clients.
Exactly. So offering that assistance, it's not just a service, it's potentially giving stylists back valuable time to focus on, their craft and actually making money. Could be a big draw, especially if you're newer to being independent.
Makes a lot of sense. Okay, so beyond the space and the optional booking help, what about other financial perks for the renters? Seems like there's more to it.
Definitely. One big one is retail commission. Renters get 50% commission on the net profits from retail products they sell.
Net profits, right, so after the cost of the product.
Correct. And they also get exclusive access to buy inventory directly from Lava Salon. The contract does mention needing your own South Carolina retail license to sell totally independently.
But maybe processing it through Lava is an option to simplify that.
It seems like it could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Less paperwork hassle, potentially.
Okay, now here's something that really stood out to me, this bit about new guest bookings.
Ah, yes. This feels like a major selling point.
It sounds like it.
Their social media post mentioned booking over $60,000 in new non-request appointments last year.
Yeah.
That's significant.
Wow, 60 grand and new clients walking in the door.
And crucially, they state these new guest bookings get passed directly to the renters.
So it's like a built-in lead generation system
Yeah,
that helps stylists build their own book fast.
that's exactly what it sounds like. It's a huge potential advantage. You're not starting from absolute zero trying to find clients.
Yeah, a massive head start.
And the contract gives a bit more detail. It says these bookings are prioritized based on the renter's availability and their specialties.
So they try to make it a good match.
Right. And there's a referral commission involved, a one-time 20% commission for the renter when they service that new guest for the first time.
Okay, 20% finder's fee, basically. How does that work?
It gets billed to the renter at the end of the month. But importantly, after that first visit, the client becomes the renter's own repeat client. No more commission paid to Lava for that person.
Got it. So Lava uses its name to bring them in. The renter pays a one-time fee and then builds their own relationship.
Precisely. It's an acquisition strategy, feeding into the individual stylist business within the Lava structure.
Hmm,
Pretty compelling.
very. Okay, let's pull back a bit. Lava Salon itself, they've been around a while in Charleston, haven't they?
They have indeed. Opened September 18th, 2006. So doing the math, that's actually 19 years in business.
19 years. Okay, my notes might have been off. That's some serious longevity in this industry.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you have to think, that kind of history probably builds a lot of trust, a
Mhm.
sense of stability for stylists thinking about joining.
No doubt. Compared to a brand new place trying the same model.
Exactly. And their press release talks about having developed a time-tested approach over those years for coaching and building successful stylists.
19 years. Wow. And they call these new studios a hybrid model. What exactly do they mean by hybrid?
Yeah, that hybrid term seems to point to this mix of running your own show but within a shared supportive setting.
Yeah.
The press release calls it a coactive salon space.
Hmm.
Stylists run their own brands, their own businesses, but there are also chances to collaborate, share resources maybe.
Like the freedom of being independent but not totally isolated, you still have colleagues around.
That seems to be the idea.
With
Freedom plus community maybe? The potential for shared infrastructure benefits.
So this coactive space, it's more than just separate rooms under one roof.
Yeah.
What are the upsides there?
Potentially, yes. You could imagine things like cross-referrals if one stylist specializes in something another doesn't.
Right.
Maybe pooling resources for marketing or just sharing tips and best practices. And the press release connects this to post-COVID changes too.
How so?
Well, noting how stylists are rethinking work-life balance, maybe wanting to specialize more, narrow their focus, this model could support that.
That fits. We've definitely seen more specialization, and it sounds like Lava's overall philosophy kind of supports this individuality.
It seems to. Their mantra is just be yourself. They talk about embracing uniqueness, diversity. And interestingly, the press release says stylists can customize their actual studio spaces to match their own brand.
Oh, that's a nice touch. So it's not just a generic white box.
Right. You can make it feel like your space, reflecting your style for your clients. It allows for that personal brand building.
Creates a more personal client experience too, I bet. And it sounds like their support goes beyond just the rental agreement, like they're invested in the stylists' careers.
That's definitely the vibe they project. They mentioned wanting to be a positive part of stylists' legacies, whether they stay at Lava or move on,
Hmm.
offering coaching on building sustainable careers, acting as an incubator for future talent. It suggests a longer-term view than just filling rooms.
So independence, but with like, a support system and growth focus. Okay, let's dig into the practical stuff, the details from that rental contract. What are the key terms a stylist really needs to know?
Well, first off, it's crystal clear. Renters are independent contractors. 1099 basis.
Meaning taxes, social security, all that is on the stylist. No typical employee benefits.
Exactly. You're your own boss, with all the control and all the responsibility that comes with that. Renters also handle their own client payments and tips right in their studio.
Okay. Except maybe for that retail piece we talked about.
Right, that might have options. And renters provide their own tools, their own styling products mostly.
But Lava provides some basics.
Yes, things like certain back bar products, communal shampoos, conditioners, towels are provided. And of course, the studio space itself, plus common areas like reception, the shampoo area, waxing room, dryers, restroom, even washer dryer.
So shared resources help keep things running.
Seems so. And there are specific rules in the contract about buying extra supplies from the salon store, how payment works for that.
Got it. What about the big compliance things? Insurance, state board rules.
Absolutely essential.
Hmm.
Renters have to follow all South Carolina Board of Cosmetology rules. Crucially, they need their own business liability insurance. Minimum $1 million coverage. And this is important. Lava Salon has to be listed as additionally insured on that policy.
Standard practice, but good to highlight. Protects everyone.
Definitely. And stylists need to display their licenses naturally. On Lava's side, as the landlord, they cover the utilities for the building.
Good to know utilities are included. What about just accessing the place, and how does that booking system work in practice, especially with those new client leads?
Renters get access during regular operating hours. Parking in West Ashley isn't exclusive, but it's available. They mentioned surveillance systems are in place for security,
Okay.
and signing the lease means consenting to that. Now, the front desk booking system, the one in the higher $1,250 plan, provides that call center support, scheduling help, managing deposits, using their software.
But it doesn't handle the stylist's actual service payments or tips?
Correct. That seems to be separate, handled by the stylist. Gift certificate use is also managed directly between the stylist and client, and that 20% referral commission is tied into using this front desk package.
Okay, so the desk is admin and lead management, not the point of sale for the stylist core services. Any other contract points that jumped out?
Yeah, a few other things. Details on buying supplies from the salon store, the retail commission options. Oh, and there's an optional coaching package.
Except record support.
Yeah, an hourly rate, $125 an hour if stylists want more one-on-one business coaching. Requires a minimum commitment, it seems.
Okay.
And the lease basics, term length, payment details, the security deposit is actually waived, which is interesting.
Oh, really? That's a plus.
Yeah. Then the insurance reminders, Utilities confirmation, late fees, indemnity clauses, notice periods for ending the agreement, 30 days from the renter, 45 days from Lava if they're not renewing, and a morals clause.
A morals clause. What's that about?
Pretty common in contracts like this. We don't have the exact wording, but it generally requires stylists to maintain certain professional and ethical standards, basically to protect the salon's overall reputation.
Right. Maintain a professional environment. Okay, that covers a lot of ground. So, wrapping this up, what are the main takeaways for a stylist looking at this Lava Salon model?
I think the core idea is this combination. You get the autonomy, the independence of running your own studio.
Control over your business, your earnings.
Exactly. But you're plugged into the support structure and, importantly, the reputation of a salon that's been around for nearly 2 decades. And that unique selling point really seems to be the new client referrals.
Yeah, that $60 K figure and the referral system seems like a potentially huge boost, especially for growth.
It addresses a major challenge for independents: consistent client acquisition. Lava seems to be leveraging its established presence to help its renters overcome that hurdle.
So it's being your own boss, but maybe not entirely on your own island, especially when it comes to finding new business and having a professional setup.
That's a good way to put it. It feels tailored to stylists wanting flexibility and ownership, but who also see the value in associating with a known brand and getting that built-in client stream.
Interesting. So, thinking bigger picture then, considering the shift by Lava, what other industries, maybe service industries, might we see adopting similar hybrid models? Where else could professionals want that balance between independence and the safety net or lead gen of a larger brand? Definitely leaves you wondering how work structures might keep evolving.